I never knew what it felt like to completely fall apart until everything I'd built in my life came crashing down. A failed marriage, a job that didn't inspire me anymore, and an apartment that echoed with emptiness after my ex took his final box of belongings. I remember staring at my reflection in the mirror. Mascara smudged under tired eyes, lips chapped from anxious biting, and a heart that pulsed quietly behind layers of numbness. I was broken. And I told myself over and over again that maybe this was it for me. That love, warmth and comfort weren't written in my stars anymore. But then, Heath Montgomery walked into my life. It wasn't dramatic, the way people imagine love stories begin. I met him on a rainy afternoon in Charleston when my car decided to stop right in front of an old bookstore. I was soaked from head to toe, annoyed at the weather and juggling my purse, my phone, and my coffee when the door to the bookstore swung open. And there he was, tall, soaked too, and carrying a box of books like he didn't even notice the storm. "You okay?" he asked. His voice a deep rumble like it had been dipped in honey and fire. I smiled, shaking water off my jacket. "Not really. My car just died." He looked at me like he'd been waiting his whole life to notice me. "Come in. Warm up. You can call a tow truck from inside." I stepped inside, and the smell of old books and fresh espresso wrapped around me like a blanket. The shop was cozy, the kind of place people wrote poems about, and he seemed to blend right into it like he belonged in stories. Heath owned the place. He told me between making me a cup of tea and helping me dry off by the fireplace in the back. That day, I sat there for nearly 3 hours. We talked about literature, about travel, about life. And it felt like I was breathing for the first time in months. Something about the way he listened made me feel seen, not just looked at but truly understood. His eyes never left mine when I spoke, and there was no pity in them, only genuine curiosity and something else. Something warm. Over the next few weeks, I found myself returning to the bookstore, even when my car worked just fine. I told myself it was for the books, the peace, the warmth. But I knew it was Heath. And I think he knew too. He'd leave a cup of tea for me on the front table with a note tucked underneath. Quotes from classic authors, sometimes just a smiley face, and once, my favorite line from a forgotten poem I'd mentioned during our second conversation. "You remembered?" I asked him that day, holding the note in my hand. He smiled, his fingers grazing mine for the briefest second as he handed me a new book. "Of course I did." That touch. It was nothing dramatic. Just skin meeting skin. But it lit something in me I thought had died. I felt the warmth spread from where our hands brushed all the way to my chest. My cheeks flushed. And when I looked at him, there was something playful in his eyes, like he was waiting for me to catch up to the connection we both felt. One evening, just as the sky turned lavender outside, I stayed late after the store closed. I helped him stack books, and we ended up sitting on the floor surrounded by hardcover worlds and quiet music playing low. I don't know what came over me, but I looked at him and said, "I don't know how to be whole again." Heath didn't try to fix me. He didn't say some romantic line that belonged in a script. He just leaned in, slow and steady, and rested his forehead against mine. "Then let's just be two broken people who don't mind sitting together for a while," he said. His fingers gently slid down my arm, brushing my skin like it was fragile silk. The touch was soft, respectful, but electric. My breath caught, and I swear time forgot to move. That was the first night I let someone see me without the walls I'd built. I leaned into his touch, and it was like my skin remembered what tenderness felt like. He didn't try to rush anything. His hands never wandered, but there was a sensual weight in the way he touched my hand, the way his eyes flicked to my lips and then back to my eyes. It was a promise without words. Every day after that, our bond deepened. We'd talk late into the night, sometimes in his small apartment above the bookstore. He'd cook simple meals, and we'd eat on the floor by candlelight when the power went out. One night, I accidentally spilled red wine on my blouse and laughed nervously, embarrassed. He handed me his shirt, and turned around respectfully as I changed. But I caught the way his breath hitched when he saw me standing in his oversized flannel, bare-legged, hair loose. I didn't say a word. I just walked over, and he instinctively opened his arms. When he held me, I melted into him. His hands found the small of my back, warm and steady, while I rested my face against his chest. His heartbeat was the most calming sound I'd heard in months. And that night, under soft lamplight, his touch wasn't just comfort, it was healing. His fingers trailed up my spine, slow and sure, brushing against my bare skin where the flannel had slid down one shoulder. I didn't flinch. I didn't pull away. I closed my eyes and let myself feel. There were moments that followed where silence said more than words ever could. He'd press soft kisses to my forehead, my cheek, the side of my neck. Not rushed or hungry, but reverent, like he was rediscovering the language of love through me. One night, I told him about my ex. About how I'd felt invisible in my own relationship. Heath didn't respond with pity. Instead, he cupped my face and whispered, "You are anything but invisible to me." And I believed him. Our intimacy never needed to be loud. It was in the way his hands always found mine when I least expected it. The way he'd draw circles on my thigh when we sat close on the couch. The way his lips lingered just a little longer when we kissed goodnight. Those kisses turned deeper, slower, more intoxicating with every passing day. And I found myself craving him. Not just his body, but his essence, the way he made me feel like I was worth something again. One morning, I woke up tangled in his arms, sunlight pouring through the windows, his breath warm against my neck. I looked at him sleeping, one hand loosely around my waist, the other curled near his chest, and I realized I wasn't broken anymore. Heath never saved me. He never claimed to fix me. But his love, his patient, gentle, consuming love, gave me the space to heal myself. And in doing so, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had. We still live above the bookstore. The shelves have grown fuller, and so has my heart. Sometimes when he's lost in reading on the couch, I watch him and wonder how I ever thought I could go on without feeling again. His touch woke me from a long bitter sleep, and now I dream wide awake. I was broken. Until his touch healed me.